Hey guys, this is Sarah. You're watching the Titan Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the Titan Podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Our first guest here on the podcast is Mr. Grimstead, the principal of Union. So, Mr. Grimstead, how long have you been principal?
This is my 10th year as a principal Union.
As a principal, you probably talk to a lot of people, so what's one of the most outlandish excuses you've ever heard from a student?
Wow. At my old school, there was somebody who used to keep a top 10 list of things you just cannot believe happened. Weekly, something would change on the list. So, I can't think of my most outlandish excuse. I think one of the most amazing things I've seen a student do is this was probably about 15 years ago, hacked into the district's computers, and he ordered like 400 cases of toilet paper, changed a bunch of people's grades. Somehow we heard about it at the school, and then we told the IT department, there's a student who hacked it and did all this, and they said, no, that's not possible. We have all these security measures. But then they sent somebody out, and I vividly remember the student sitting across from me, the IT person there. The student explains in a minute what he did, and then the IT person looked at us and said, yeah, he did that. Yeah, we have a huge problem. So that ended up being the Columbian. It was just pretty crazy. This kid figured all this out. He was an amazing brain.
What's your definition of a successful student?
I think anyone who becomes a lifelong learner is a successful student. I'm not as concerned about what you learn, but the fact that you're a learner and getting smarter every day. I really feel like that should be all of us. And I kind of feel like that's who I aspire to be. So that to me, that's what matters, is learning, not so much what you learn or this type of student. It's a person who's a learner.
So to you as a person who's going on this journey of life, what are the top 3 items that you feel are crucial to your survival kit? So things like, chocolate would be on my list, or caffeine.
That's pretty funny. I'm addicted to print. People who know me know I absolutely despise meetings. I don't hold any meetings unless my bosses say we're going to have a meeting. We don't have faculty meetings. I learn everything through reading. I'm just like addicted to print. So I have to be reading. Like if I'm not reading, it drives me insane. I like to work out. That's just the way I relieve stress. So that's something where I have to do every day. I have a Fitbit, but I have a certain number of steps. I like to lift weights. That stuff I feel compelled to do, and I enjoy it, but it's not something that's I go, oh, I might work out, I might not. It's something which is part of who I am. And I'd probably say the third thing would be just my family. Family is really important to me, and it's really where a lot of my big decisions have come because of my family as far as almost anything. So I'd say those are the 3 things that would be in my survival kit.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I would say professionally, as a principal, there are a million things happening all the time, and you're like sometimes you're a mayor, sometimes you have a million different roles as well, or not a million, but you have a lot of roles. We wear a lot of hats, so it's not really so advice that people have given me, but it's more my perspective as far as my job. My job is there's a couple phrases that I think really matter for me. One is speed kills. I got to do things fast. I can't let things just drag on. And then I guess my other thing that I have learned from the students here at Union. Now, I worked at a lot of other schools in the district, and great kids, great schools. But when we first started Union, I heard kids over and over and say, I love Union High School. That kind of surprised me, because usually I hear kids say, oh, I love the football program, or I love certain things about a school, but I really never heard kids, and so many people say it. So that really shaped my thinking, and as far as me as a principal, what I want is everybody to love being a Titan. I really don't care why. Again, I think there needs to be a lot of freedom there, so it's not because, I want everybody to love it because I got a great English teacher. Hopefully they do, but they might love it because they have Subway. So I think those that, to me, as far as being a principal, the speed kills. If people need something, they need it right away. I don't like to keep them waiting. I don't, whether they be students, parents, teachers, and so I like to, touch it once. I have some things as far as just how I do my job, but then as far as philosophically, I want students to love being here. And then I think everything else kind of takes care of itself.
So if you could go back in time and tell, baby Grimstead something, what's something that you would tell your former self?
Wow, that's a really good question. The funny thing is I have an identical twin. We're completely identical in almost every way, but when he was in high school, he worked really hard. When I was in high school, I just spent a lot of time not working hard. Now I love my job and I love everything I do, but now he's a real successful entrepreneur and has his own business, and sometimes I think, that might have been kind of a fun path to take. I don't necessarily regret it, but if I were to go back, I'd probably tell myself, work a lot harder in middle school and high school. I really didn't figure that out until I was in college and graduate school.
What's your mantra, or something that you say when you get in a rut?
My mantra is I try and be positive, and I want to be around positive people. some of my job has built-in conflict. Sometimes parents are upset, or teachers, or kids, and I'm fine with that. I get that that's part of my job. But I can't be around negative people. And I'm not saying I'm Mr. Positive, but I try and be positive and see the good in things and try and see, okay, solutions. So there was another person I worked with who's now the principal, Shahela, Greg Brown always used to say, are you problem identifying or problem solving? I'd rather be around problem solvers. I don't really need to be around a bunch of problem identifiers. And I would say that in my own life, personal life, professional life. So I guess that would be the thing. I need positive. I can't deal with negative or too much negative. I feel like you make a choice to be positive or negative. I want to choose to be positive and be around people who choose to be positive.
When you hit a rough patch, then, how do you stay positive?
I think you end up just going back to your values and what's important to you. And I think it's, like you said, the survival kit. Some of it's just that survival kit. So hopefully as you get older, we all get smarter. Sometimes it's true and sometimes not. But you get a little bit smarter about yourself and realize you're in a rough patch. Give yourself some freedom to be who you are, I think, and make mistakes. And also realize the rough patches are part of life. It's easy for me to say, but that's the truth. You'll see in research about students that we need to teach them perseverance and grit. I don't really believe that. I believe we all learn perseverance and grit through kind of hard times, and we're not going to set up a situation to make students have hard times. But it's that idea, okay, what I'm learning here is some perseverance or grit. And in the end, I think it goes back to being a problem solver versus a problem identifier, always looking for solutions. At least gives you some hope. I think sometimes if you get in that rut and you have no hope, then that's not good. So I would say that's what, to me, I always feel like I have some hope, that I have some control of what's going on in my life or going on in a situation.
So what is one of those things that you hope to be able to do? So in 20 years, where do you want to see yourself?
I'm super interested in investing in the stock market. I'm really interested in that kind of stuff. I have an interest in maybe being like an investment advisor or just helping people figure out their finances. I find a lot of people are just blown away by money and thinking about it, don't want to think about it, don't want to talk about it, and it's daunting. I love it. So right now I'm working with a student, Noah Puckett, to create a website that's all about it. Essentially, you take Twitter, put it on Flipboard, and you create magazines, and the Flipboard can then go to a website that's going to be all about money, investing, buying a house, paying off debt, paying for college, where to live. I'm super, like you say, in 20 years, I hope I've lived all over the world in 20 years. So I've been here in Vancouver for the last 27, but I could see myself retiring in a lot of different places outside the United States. So I'm hoping I've done a whole bunch of new stuff. And then I like to learn, so I think I will have learned a great deal. I mean, there's some things that I know I won't be doing. Like I'm not, because of union, I have to do Facebook stuff just to put it on there. I'm really interested in technology, but not like the social media. It's just, I mean, not like Facebooky stuff, if that makes sense. So I hope I'm still learning.
Are there any people that you specifically attribute some of your success to?
I went to Harvard for my master's, so I really felt like that was the key learning experience of my life, because you went there and everybody that was the professors or the people that wrote the books, they wrote the textbooks, but they really treated everybody like you were as smart as they were, which kind of blew my mind. But eventually, it was great being around all those people, and I feel like I learned so many things, really more of an outlook about the world, an outlook about what learning means and how powerful it is. It's life-changing. Real learning is life-changing, which I think is amazing. So I would say that was one of the key moments. I don't know if I answered your question, but key moments really for me as far as giving me tools to be successful as an adult, even just think about the world.
Fun fact, there are 44 different breeds of turkeys in the world, including the gold turkey, the eastern wild turkey, and of course that unforgettable turkey, the Percy Jackson movies. Announcements for this week. Titan Food Drive for Thanksgiving. Make sure to bring in your items to your 4th period classes. We're doing competition. There are about 14 items on the list, and make sure everything gets in by November 20th. Winners can get a pizza party, a cookie party, or an ice cream party. Up next, ways to say thank you in other languages. So, Mr. Grimstead, if you don't mind, I wanted to play a quick game with you as Thanksgiving is coming up. This is ways to say thank you in other languages. So, I'm going to try my best at pronunciation, and you try to guess which country it's from. Danke?
German.
Grazie.
Italian.
This one's harder. Okay. Dekuji?
Dekuji. Japanese?
Nope.
Dekuji. Russian?
It's Czech Republic, actually. Ooh. That one's an interesting one. Evcharisto.
Evcharisto. I'm just Russian.
Greece, actually.
Oh, I should have got that.
Hvala?
I keep wanting to go with Russian. No, it's not Russian. I don't have any idea. I'm going with Russian again.
It's actually Croatian.
Oh, I should know that. I spent a summer in Croatia.
Dankjewel.
Dutch?
Yeah, it's Dutch. Tak.
Tak. Farsi.
It's actually Swedish.
Tak.
Surprisingly.
Oh.
Tak. What language did you take going through school?
French and then theological French. So
Very
I can
nice.
read more than I can... I know a little bit of French. That's about it.
Nice. Arigato gozaimasu.
Japanese.
Yeah, that one's Japanese. Sheshe.
Chinese.
Toda.
Toda. Cambodian.
Hebrew.
Mm.
Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad. Russian.
That one's Indian. Hindi.
Dhanyavad.
Teseker ederim.
Teşekkürler ederim. Is that Turkish?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that!
Look how smart. Oh my goodness. Spasiba.
I know this one. Spasiba. Is that Russian?
That one's Russian. Yep.
Hey, if you try Russian 10 times, you're going to get one lucky.
Obrigado.
I don't know what's that one.
That one's Portuguese.
I should know that. I think I knew that.
And the final one. This is easy. Gracias.
Spanish.
Wonderful. Good job. That's pretty good. I don't know who it was harder on, you or me trying to pronounce it or trying to guess it. That was a challenge. Thank you, Mr. Grimstead, for joining us today on our podcast. See you guys in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for watching this week. We send out our thanks to Mr. Blackwell for lending us his equipment, Mr. Grimstead, of course, for coming. We will be releasing podcasts every 2 weeks, so the next one should come out the first week of December.